Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. My name is Scarlett Odell, and I'm an education specialist at Foundations Inc. Welcome to our Beyond the Conference webinar series. Today, we have Eric Golden from the Flourish Lab, and we'll be getting started shortly. But before we do, though, I want to give you a little bit of background information on Foundations Inc. So, we are a national educational nonprofit located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, and our mission is to improve the quality of education by building the skills of educators. We work across the school day with after school programs, schools, districts, and states to create a brighter future for every child every day. If you're interested in learning more about Foundations, you can follow us on social media. You can check out our website that I've posted in the chat and all of our social medias I am posting in there right now. So please check all of those out and give us a follow and a like. We would appreciate it. So you can check all of those out right there. And you may already know us from our signature professional learning experience, the Beyond School Hours Conference that's held every year, each February. And in 2027, we will be in New Orleans for our 30th Big 3-0 anniversary, and we hope that you'll join us. Now, I'd like to take a minute to introduce today's facilitator, Eric Golden is the lead facilitator for the Flourish Lab. He has been in youth programs for 9 years and has been facilitating for 7 years. And just so you know, this webinar will be archived on our website and YouTube, so you'll be able to access it later. And now I'm going to pass that over to Eric.
Cool. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I see some familiar faces out there, so that's cool. So I'm going to introduce myself, introduce the Flourish Lab, go through a couple of things, and then we'll jump into the workshop. Um, so let me share my screen. Okay. So this is the filling factor. So I don't know how many, some of you I know have been in some of our workshops. Our workshops are very interactive. I'll be sending you into some breakout rooms. I'm going to have you discussing some stuff. So with that in mind, to get the most out of today, some things. If you can, turn on your camera. If you're able to, like I said, we're going to be talking and having conversations. So if people can see you, especially in your breakout room, that would be amazing. So if you can, turn on your cameras. Limit distractions as much as possible. We have 1 hour. It's going to go by quickly. We are going to be talking, and your voice matters. So participate in the chat. I'm going to ask you to say some things in the breakout rooms. So as much as you can, be participating, be saying the things, give us your opinion because you matter. Like what you have to say matters. So use reaction features if you want. Raise your hands, love things, like things, all of the little reactions, use those, and then engage with us. Again, we want you to be able to like you have things that are valuable and we want to hear about it. So um we are going to get started. First thing, this is our little team at the Flourish Lab. Amy Brady is the creator, co-creator with Lana Halamarian. And I am Eric Golden. I am the lead facilitator and develop a lot of content for the Flourish Lab. I have three daughters. I have an 18-year-old daughter who's going to graduate next week. Super excited about that. And then I have two little daughters. I have a 13-year-old daughter who's in seventh grade and a 12-year-old daughter who's in sixth grade. And I love them dearly. I have a fiance. We've been together for 13 years. And we've been engaged for like six probably. Um, and I love her like more than I've ever loved anything in this world. So that's a little bit about me. My values are humanity, communication, and connection. One of the things I love about my job most is being able to connect with people and hear what people have to say, in these settings. So all of those things are things that we love. Um, a little bit more about us at the Flourish Lab. Ooh, here we do professional development for the folks in after school programming. Anybody who works with kids anywhere, we work with them. So we work with libraries and big like state networks and individual schools, or just all the people who work with young people. That is our niche, and we work with those folks. So a little bit more about that. All of the things we do are based in emotional intelligence. and self-awareness. So we like to have the adults around do those things so that then they can go back and teach them to the kids. We really believe that it's hard for us to teach kids something that we don't have. And a lot of adults just have never learned the things, right? They've not got the skills and tools of SEL and emotional intelligence. Another thing, we believe in relationship building. All of our workshops have some aspect of relationship building, and we really believe in relationship building in programs as well. Research informed and trauma informed. All of our stuff is informed by by Castle, the Weicker Center, all of the big things. We take all of that very seriously in the research and things that go into our work. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I just said about us or our or me before we get started? Okay, take that as a no. So let's jump in. So at the beginning of all of our workshops, all the time, if you've ever been in one, we have a please share. I might send you into breakout rooms, or I'm going to send you into breakout rooms probably 2 times. This is one of them. Okay. So this is what I want you to share in your breakout room. Think about one of your favorite places or favorite groups to be a part of, and what keeps you coming back. Okay. So for me, as an example, I lead a workshop called Leaders on the Rise, and it's like this program where people come to us and they work with us for 8 weeks in a row, 3 hours a day. And we build such great relationships, and everybody's super authentic and vulnerable. And we share all of these things. And by the end of it, I've just made like 10 new friends. And it's one of my favorite things to do all the time. What keeps me coming back is the connection, like the connection that we all feel. And like I said, the authenticity in the room is really strong. And so I feel like everybody's able to be themselves, and it creates a really strong, um, just like sense of um humanity in the room is what I love. So that's the thing for me. So think about a group or a favorite place that you like to be. I'm going to send you into breakout rooms. Probably give you like 4 minutes. So each person, if you have 3 people, all 3 of you share, and then I'll see you back here in just a moment. Welcome back, folks. We got 10 seconds left in the breakout room, and everybody else will be flown back in. All right. Thank you so much, my folks, for sharing your things. If I could get just like a couple of people, either in the chat or if you're feeling real brave, come off of mute and say a thing. What's your favorite place? What's your favorite group? And why? What keeps you coming back?
I'm Antoinette, and I can go for our group, I guess. And I guess I'm kind of
Yes.
still excited because when I thought about what my favorite place was, I identified a program that we were working with and found out that somebody else in the group was also doing the same thing. But it was a different state, totally different state. And it was just how you relate with ours was ninth graders,
Yep.
with them starting a new beginning and becoming, filling out how they're actually feeling becoming uh, their first time in high school as far as the
Okay.
relationship. What keeps me coming back is because the actual people that are have the yes or no, they like us. So we're just lucky to be able to keep being contracted. So that's what keeps me coming back.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me get somebody else. What's the thing? Where's a place or a group that you love to be?
I can go real quick. But I said one of my favorite places to be is or yeah, my one of my favorite places to be is definitely the camp that I work at. I was telling I was telling Jaleesa that it's just something very comforting about being able to always go back to somewhere and know that they always have the same values, and that they cherish you the same way every single time you come back. Um, and yeah, it's just one of my favorite places to be because we're all just here existing in the present together. And it gives you like a chance to separate from the outside world and really look within. So that's like one of the groups I like to be a part of. And everybody has like the same mindset going in there too.
Yeah. So it's a shared experience, shared goals, shared values, all of those things kind of make it feel better.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Um, In the chat, we got Rebecca. My favorite place is my yoga fitness studio. I try to bring that feeling into my classroom setting as much as possible. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, thank you so much. So, just think about this thing. What are your favorite places to be, right? Your favorite places to be, and hopefully, this is what we want to be setting up for the young people in our program and the people who work there. Like one of the things we really believe in is, I think it's like Richard Branson, one of the billionaire people said this thing where they say, the customer is not the most important. The people who work for you are the most important because they take care of your customers. You take care of them, they will take care of your customer, right? And so that's really the thing. If we take care of the people who are working in our after school programs as much as we care about the kids, the program thrives. And so how do we keep people wanting to come back? And so we're going to talk about that today. How do we keep people wanting to come back? So one of the things we really, really believe in is this idea of belonging. Okay. And the idea of belonging. Belonging is hugely important. And that group that you just thought of, chances are you feel like you belong in that group, right? If you didn't feel like you belonged in that group, you wouldn't want to go back. You wouldn't be your favorite place for damn sure, right? And so, like you like that place, okay? So I want you to think of a space where you belong. It might be that space. It might be another space. Okay, think of a space where you belong, and then I'm going to show you four pictures, and I want you to think of which one most closely relates to how you feel when you belong. Okay, which one most closely relates to how you feel when you belong, either in that space or just in general? And then I want you to put your number in the chat. Don't press enter though. Okay, don't press enter because I don't want anybody to be influenced by anybody's number. So just put your number in there and then wait. And then I'm going to say hit enter, and then everybody's numbers are going to come up at the same time in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to show you the pictures. I'm going to tell you mine, and then I'm going to say press enter, and then we'll see all the numbers. All right, so these are the four photos. These are the four photos. So think about which one of these for you most closely relates to how you feel when you do belong. Put it in the chat, but don't press enter yet. Get prepared to, but don't yet. Okay. So I am going to choose number two. And I choose number two because the place I feel like I most belong most of the time is with my partner, my wife, and my kids, my fiance and my kids. When I am here, I feel like I can be goofy. I can tell all the terrible dad jokes. I feel like I'm a champion dad joke teller, to be honest with you. I can tell all the really bad dad jokes, and everybody just accepts them. Sometimes they laugh, sometimes they don't. But I don't feel silly doing it, right? Like I feel like I'm okay. I can be my authentic self, and it feels okay. It feels safe. I don't feel like I gotta, that mask that we all kind of feel like we gotta wear sometimes out in public. I don't have to have that here. And that number two kind of reminds me of that space. Okay, so that is mine. Let me put my line so I can see where everybody is. Please press enter. What are your numbers? Press enter, please, and let's see what we got out here in the world. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I might call on you, and I'm gonna say like, "Why'd you choose that number?" If you don't want to share it, just say no. You don't have to. It's all good. I'm not gonna be. You're gonna hurt my feelings. So, um, can I have Katie, you chose number one. What made you choose number one?
I chose number one because it kind of resonates back to my childhood. I learned to cook with my mom. And cooking is a big part of my life and my entire family life. So I feel a belonging when I'm with my family and I'm cooking and having all that stuff as well too. So
Thank you. Thank you so
mhm.
much. How about Meg? You had number three. What you think? Would you mind sharing?
Hey, sure, I can share. I chose number three because it reminded me of like my friend group back in my hometown. And yeah, it's definitely a group of people that always brings me joy and uplifts me throughout life, and just people that I'm very grateful for outside of my own given family. It's my chosen family.
Thank you so much. Let me go with how about Jessica for number two?
I said number two just because it reminds me of time with my boys when they were younger, and I think I'm probably most at home with them.
Okay. Thank you so much. And how about Carol? Would you mind sharing number four? There you are.
Yeah, so I danced as a child, and I continue to teach classes to little kids. And we just had a recitals this last weekend, and I only got to be on stage for 12 counts, but it was still the best 12 counts I had all weekend.
Yes.
And even better than that was I got to share my love of being on stage with my little kids, and they had so much fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. So like that back and forth connection is like super
Yeah.
cool here. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're gonna do it again. But this time I want you to think about the opposite. Okay, think about the opposite. Think about a time when you don't belong. Okay, so think about a time when you don't belong. So put yourself there, or think about that time, or think about the thing, or think about the place, or think about the moment, or whatever it might be. Okay. And I want you to now think about which one of these photos. Oh, sorry. I pressed enter on the wrong thing. Chat. Which one of these photos most closely relates? Okay. So put it in the chat. Don't press enter again. The one that I usually choose is number one. And I choose number one because there's two areas I think of, but the one that I say is I had my daughter when I was pretty young. And so when she was in kindergarten, I was a single dad and very young. And so I would go to like the parent events and it would be very isolating because I'd be the only man and I was the youngest person there by a long shot. And it was hard. Like it was hard for me to find connection with the other parents, but it was also hard for my daughter to connect with the kids outside of school because I couldn't connect with the parents. Right. So it like had that kind of trickle down effect to my kid. So that's for me, I choose number one and that's why. So now press enter. Which one is there for you? One, two, three, or four. Oh, I didn't say this too. And it's because like I always think I'm this person kind of right here in the middle of the walking escalator, and there are all these people around, but there's nobody kind of for me to connect with, is my reasoning. So lots of ones, lots of people who feel me on this one. Can I get Emily? Did I ask you last time? I don't think I did. Emily, would you mind saying anything?
Yeah, I think I would feel similar to you. Like just when you're not making a connection, feeling like I feel like I'm always around people or but you're just yeah, you just can't make that connection or
Yep. Yeah,
something.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like there's people around, but the connection is difficult in that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the things we talked about in the belonging one, when you belong, connection is easy. Like it happens. Oh, it's not, you don't have to work for it when I feel like I belong. Let me ask, how about Rebecca W? What is number two for you? Wait a minute. Is there not a Rebecca W? Yes, there is. Rebecca Weichel?
She doesn't have a mic,
Oh,
Eric.
okay.
I think she put something in the chat.
She did. Okay, so thank you so much. It's that feeling of being lost in the woods. Okay, thank you so much. Um, and let me see. There's no number threes. So how about Marla? Would you mind saying something for number four?
Yeah, hey Eric, good to see
Uh,
you.
Good to see you.
I chose number four because I kind of feel like I'm just on my own path and like there's not really anyone else around. If I
Yeah.
feel like I don't belong, like emotionally, they're not really around, but physically there might be people like slide number one. But four spoke to me the most with the person just kind of the footsteps are behind them and it's nothing but expanse in front of them and no one else is alongside them.
Yes. Okay. So can I ask you how do you usually show up when you feel when it's like I don't belong or you feel like that?
I don't have a personality.
Hmm.
Yeah, I lose my entire personality and I just become very palatable to the people around me and I become some type of role that I think like will be most approved by the group, but it's not really who I am. It's a very emotionally exhausting experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I put on the mask, right? I
Yeah.
stop being authentic and I do the thing that I think is going to belong,
Yes.
right? And just think about this idea of that is emotionally exhausting. Like, it is emotionally exhausting to put on the mask all day or wear it in
Yeah.
different. We have different masks, right? And all these different ones. Thank you so much, Marla. And another thing, when I think about this, what Marla's kind of saying, I work with a lot of libraries, and one of the things we talk about is like the kids come into the libraries. There's a big group, seven, eight kids, and not all of those kids want to do the things they're doing. But if I'm in a group of seven or eight kids and they're doing a thing, I'm going to do the thing a lot of the times, right? Just because of what Marla just talked about. Like now, I feel like in order to belong, I'm doing a thing, right? So when we this whole idea, thank you everyone for sharing your numbers and for sharing. Every behavior starts with a feeling. Okay, every behavior starts with a feeling. Maybe it's the feeling of not belonging. Maybe it's the feeling of frustration. Maybe it's the feeling of not having what I need to at home. Like all of the things, whatever it is, every behavior starts with a feeling. And so when we think about the young people in our programs, there's this behavior we see, and it frustrates us. And we get, and, all of the things, and there's always something underneath. Right. We believe that all of the things people do, if you were just curious for a moment, it would actually make sense, given what they're going through, given the feelings they're experiences, given the thoughts in their mind. So some of the things that might be happening for the young person are the emotions, right? The emotions, the stress of what's happening in their little world, unmet needs, and trauma. Okay. So like when you think about adults, we have developed, most of us have developed some skills over the years to deal with our stuff. Healthy or not, let's be honest. Some of them are healthy, some of them aren't. But we've developed some skills. Young people have often not developed those skills or they're still developing. And so these things that we're talking about here, emotional stress, trauma, unmet needs, they are going to impact them probably a little bit more as they show up in spaces and they're trying to regulate their little bodies, right? Try to regulate their little bodies and emotions because that's hard. It's hard for us as adults, right? Um, we love this kind of little process. Our thoughts and our feelings lead to our actions. Okay. Our thoughts and our feelings lead to our actions. When we have negative thoughts, we are more likely to have negative actions. When we have positive thoughts, we are more likely to have positive actions. Same thing with feelings, right? Negative actions and negative thoughts and feelings lead to negative actions. Positive thoughts and feelings lead to positive actions. Okay. And so if we can create a space, we want to try to create a space where young people have the opportunity to have more positive feelings. Okay. Like, how can we create spaces where it is more likely that young people are going to have positive feelings than negative feelings? Okay. Um, so I want you to think about this for programs that you've been in. What happens or what is present when you are in a program or you leave a program or you're like doing things and you feel like this? Okay. When you're this emoji and you're just like, everything is great. You got joy, you got happiness. What's happening in program when this is true? You just come off mute and say a thing or put it in the chat. What's happening when you feel like this? Or what happened that day? Emily says you're welcome. You're having some fun. Okay. Thank you. What else?
People are laughing and smiling.
Yeah, they got laughing, smiling, some joy. Okay. Becky says high student engagement. Yes. Julie, engaged. Tamara, music. Um, Rebecca Weichel. I hope I'm saying that last name right. You feel successful and proud of your performance. Katie, connection, laughter and joy. We got satisfaction, some more laughter and hugs. Good news you've been waiting for. Okay. Okay. Lots of things here. Keep them coming. And what happened on a day when you leave and you feel like this? Or you're in program and you feel like this. What happened on this day? What might have happened on this way? So Carol, for the last one, said I feel like I had a good connection with the kids. We got some growth. Okay. And Josie says things fell apart. Yes, things fell apart. Julie wiped out, met incidents, chaos, got chaos two times. Conflict. Things didn't go as planned. Yes, things didn't go as planned. Okay, things didn't go as planned. Confusion from Kasaya. Employee conflict. The employee conflict is a huge one. We believe that a lot of the times the kids are okay. You can go into a program and see how the adults are working together, and it'll inform how the young people are usually showing up in a program. Oftentimes, it's usually that simple. Um, Board expressions. Yes. Feeling, I did a work. We're going to do a workshop here recently talking about engagement. And like when kids get bored, a thing happens. Kids can get bored for 30 seconds and things are going to get a little weird, right? Feeling like I dropped the ball out there. But there's always tomorrow. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Conflict, time, personality. Yes. I have to pop off for a 3:30 meeting. Oh, you're not answering this one. Bye, Marla. That's so funny. I just got to reading stuff. Okay. See you later, Marla. Um, so yes, all of these things. Okay. So when we think about all of the things we just talked about, when we think about the things we have control over, um, there's a couple of things, but we usually try to control something else, Okay, we usually try to control something else. And so when we think about this idea of what can we control, we believe in an intentional mindset and intentional actions around how we're showing up in the spaces that we share with young people. So I want you all, some of you probably already know this, but I want you to think about we get called out most of the time when we get called to come in and do some PD, people ask us for one specific thing. Does anybody have any idea what do you think we usually get called out by youth programs? What is the thing they usually want from us? What do you think to use? Some of y'all have been in too many of our workshops. Yes, you're right. Behavior management, behavior management, behaviors, behavior help, right? It's just all the time. Behaviors. Okay. So one of the things they always want is behavior management. Okay. Behavior management. When we think of the idea of management, what are we usually saying when we say behavior management? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to do with kids? Exactly. Right. Anytime we say we want to have behavior management, what we're actually saying is, how do you control these kids? How do you control these kids? And I, for one, have no idea. I have no idea. And I don't think anybody does. I don't think anybody can control anybody's behavior for the most part. I had one person on here say, and he's probably right, that his wife controls his behavior, but that's completely different. But like for the most part, people don't control our behaviors, right? Like we can't control other people's behaviors. And so when somebody calls us like, we gotta, we want behavior management, what they're actually is saying is, how do you want us to help us control these kids? That is impossible. You hear me? It's impossible. If I knew how to control kids, I would be a gazillionaire, and I'm not. Okay, that is not possible. You can't control other people. So, when we think about behavior management and what it means to manage, it usually just means control. How are we going to control folks? And so, the challenge that that we really believe in is this idea of how do we change that mindset from how do we control behavior to how do we set up environments where we embrace the behaviors that happen as a natural part of just like kids growing up, right? Like behaviors are human. They're not a young person thing. I'm sure most of us have had a behavior in the last month that we're not real proud of because we're human beings, right? It's not a kid thing. It's a human thing. We have behaviors. And so when we think about this idea of like how do we embrace behaviors in programs and have the confidence to control them. I mean, to handle them when they come up. There's a problem, we're going to be able to handle it. Instead of we walk around kind of on edge with anxiety and thinking, oh my goodness, I have to control all the kids. And if something goes wrong, like to drop some of that anxiety and stress that we put on ourselves and just create an environment where young people can thrive. So this is how we believe that you can do that. Is to move from to develop this SEL mindset, which is moving from controlling negative behavior to inspiring positive behavior, right? To inspiring positive behavior. So how do we stop showing up to just stop the behavior and show up in a way where we're doing things where kids feel positive and more positive behaviors happen? Doesn't mean there's not going to be negative behaviors because we're still human, but we're just like not focused on negative behaviors, and that's not the focus of our attention, right? Because sometimes we focus so hard on what could happen that we forget all that we miss the good. We miss the good that's happened because our brain has a natural tendency to just see the negative. Um, so in the chat this week, is school is ending. My co-team leader and I plan activities to control the chaos rather than letting the chaos control us. Just changing our mindset has made a huge difference. Absolutely, right? Just that mindset shift of we can do a thing here. And so this is how we believe that happens. Okay, this is how we believe that happens. So the first thing is moving from reactive to responsive. Okay, moving from reactive to responsive. What does what does this mean? What does it move from reactive to responsive? Julie says think ahead. Yes. Think ahead, absolutely. So when we think about this idea of reactive to responsive, when we react, we're really reacting from like our subconscious. We're not thinking about it at all. Something happens, we have a reaction. That reaction can be any number of things. Usually because we're adults and we have the power, it's like yelling, taking things away, sitting somebody out, stuff like that. That's usually our react, having a tone, getting the look, right? The look that you can get and kids know what's happening. Like that happens, and then all of a sudden there's a thing like the relationship is impacted. Instead, responsive is I take a moment to see what's the best way to respond here to be intentional and build the relationship. Rebecca says understand the reasoning. Is it Rocio? Okay. If it's, please correct me if I'm wrong. Says to analyze what's going on and the consequences of our actions. So this is reactive to responsive. How do we move from this space where everything causes us to have a knee-jerk reaction, the first thing that comes to our mind, to, okay, I'm going to stop for a moment, pause, and move forward in a way that feels good to me and this young person or the staff member or the parent or the person in the community or wherever they are. Okay. Then another thing we think about is moving from threatening to listening, right? So this idea of when something happens, instead of jumping right in with a threat, to be curious. What's going on? Ask a question, get some information, right? Before we just jump right in with, if you don't stop, we're going to do the thing. Okay. So threatening to listening, looking for the negative to seeks out the positive. Okay, looking for the negative seeks out the positive. So sometimes, and I mean, sometimes you develop that there's like that kid, right? That kid who every time they come to program, you get that you just like, oh my goodness, here we go again, and it just kind of drives you crazy. When that kid comes in, because it's like we're looking for the negative, we're expecting to do a thing. They can't do anything that wouldn't be against that. Every good thing they do, we don't see it, but all the negative, we will see it every single time, right? So if we shift that perspective to I'm going to look for the good today. Like, watch for the positive and say something about that. And how does that change the relationship? And when the relationship changes, how does the interactions change? So instead of looking for the negative, we seek out the positive. Kind of in that same vein, anticipates challenges and anticipates greatness. If we anticipate challenges every time we see a young person, there's nothing they can do to not have challenges. Because even when they do something right, it's going to be like in our mind, we are looking for the negative. So anticipating challenges. Maybe it's like the outlook on the day. Like if I'm on the work and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's going to be such a horrible day. You right. It's probably going to be a horrible day. Like if that's the mindset I'm going into it with, I think it's Confucius says, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And it's kind of that same thing. If I think I'm going to have a bad day or I think I'm not going to have a bad day, you're right. It's probably going to go from there. Right. And so this is the same thing. What's wrong with them to what can I do differently? This is huge with adults, especially working with young people, is when young people do something, it's like automatically, oh my goodness, why does this young kid do this thing? It's a lot more impactful for us and for that young person oftentimes to say, oh my, okay, that happened. What are we doing? What can we do differently to maybe not put that young person in that position, to anticipate the thing or whatever it may be? But to not automatically say, oh my goodness, these kids never know what to do. Oh my goodness, these kids can't do this, right? It's like, okay, what might I do differently next time so that it doesn't set this behavior in motion? Motivates through fear and motivates through connection. So I like to ask this question. So just like in the chat, say yes or no. Does motivation through fear work? Does motivation through fear work? In the chat, yes or no? Does motivation through fear work? Okay. So we got some answers in here. Let's just take a look at the chat. And this is what I'm going to offer to you. And I didn't say this at the beginning, but nothing, I don't believe in right and wrongs. Nothing I'm going to say is absolutely true or not. But, and motivation through fear does work because people are motivated through, almost all of us are motivated through fear of losing the things we have to go to work every day. Unless you absolutely love your job and it's your favorite thing on earth, you're motivated through fear of losing your job to be there. But that's probably true. And it works because you're there, right? It's like, but you're also oftentimes we're not happy. Motivation through fear works. People will do the thing and they probably hate you and the relationship's probably bad and they're probably looking for a new job, right? Like if I'm a manager and I motivate people through fear, they're going to get stuff done, but I guarantee you they don't like the job and they're looking for a new one. And this is why turnover is a lot, right? Because like we people don't like to be motivated through fear, but it does work. It is much more long term. I think some of you said this. It works, but it's not long term because people get burnt out on that, right? And it doesn't feel good and it's not sustainable. It doesn't work in a positive way. It doesn't build relationships. All of the things that people are putting in there. It when we do it through fear, it's hard. When we motivate through connection, people do the thing because they want to keep the relationship. They do the thing because we care about each other, right? When you all were talking about in the beginning the place you wanted to be, you're not motivated through fear in that space. You're motivated through connection. You're motivated because like these people care about me and I want to be here and I want to show up. There's a completely different energy that people approach the thing with, given how they're being motivated, right? So again, motivation through fear works. It does not build relationships though. Okay. So when I think about motivation through fear and motivation through connections, oftentimes I'll say you can either be showing people you're in power or you can be building relationships. You cannot do them both at the same time, right? It's very hard to be doing both of them at the same time. Problem focused and solution focused. Again, we are human beings and our brain sees negativity. And so it is very easy to see the problems. I bet you if I asked you 10 problems in your program right now, you could rattle them off like that, right? That's easy to see the problems. It is much harder to see solutions because we focus on the problem. So when we can come in with this idea of like, okay, that happened, this is what's true. What can we do about it? Instead of, oh my goodness, there's a problem, let's fix the problem. How do we find a long-term thing that is more solution focused and problem focused? This is a big one with adults and young people too. Respect means do what I say, and respect means I value you. Do what I say is obedience, right? Do what I say is obedience. And we conflate the things with young people all the time. Um, you ask a young person, did you do this thing? They say no. And then all of a sudden they're being disrespectful. That's, in our world, that's not disrespectful. That's like not completing a task. There's a lot of things to say about it. We believe respect is I value you. And people get respect when they walk in the door. Like a young person comes to program, they just get respect because they're a human being who showed up. They don't need to earn it and work for it and jump through hoops. Like you can lose respect, but if you come in, I value you and you're a human being and you get respect from the jump. Doesn't matter if you're 8 or 7 or 11, you get respect. That builds relationships. Prioritizing the rules, prioritize the individual. Um, right? Every single person doesn't fit into every rule every time. Sometimes we can fit people in to the rule and make it okay. But when we prioritize the rules, sometimes we miss the humanity underneath. And when you miss the humanity, relationships are broken. Trust is broken. Okay, almost all the time. Next thing, adult voice and youth voice. Okay, adult voice and youth voice. Um, when we work in programs and it's just like all the adults say all the things, they make all the decisions. I just want you to think about a place where you are. If you're not included in the plans and all the things, it doesn't feel good. And if I have to be somewhere all day or for 3 hours or whatever, and I all the time, and I never, ever, ever, ever get to have any say, that doesn't feel fantastic. But young people are often in that space. Short-term results instead of long-term growth. On the other side, relies on a quick fix here as well. So you will notice on the purple side, the controlling negative behavior side, all of these are like quick things. We can do these very easily. They're easy because we're the adults and we have the power. We can do them, and oftentimes they work. I can yell. I can take things away. I don't have to show respect. Like all of these things are because I'm the adult, and adults have all the power and privilege in the adult young person relationship, like 100% of it. And so our our goal that we believe in is how do you share some of that power? How do you share some of so young people feel like respected and like their humanity matters and that they're valued in the program, they're seen in the program, right? How do you move from power to partnership? So I'm going to send you into breakout rooms one more time. This is the last time I'm going to go to breakout rooms, and I want you to think about this. When you were a young person, which one of these was most present? Okay, which one of these was most present, the purple side or the orange side? And you can either think about your whole childhood or think about a place. You can think about school or maybe you can think about you can think about your home life. Maybe you played on a sports team, but think about for you, which one of these sides was most present from the adults who were in your life when you were a young person. Okay. And Rebecca W., I know you don't have a mic, so thank you for bearing with us. Put your breakout rooms up. Which one of these was most present when you were a young person? The left side, the purple, or the right side, the orange? Share this into the breakouts. Okay, your breakout rooms are coming. All right, welcome back, everyone. This if you all would please in the chat, um, either write purple or orange, okay? Or you can write controlling or inspiring, but purple or orange is probably easier. You can write P or O. It don't matter. Something no to let me know which side was most present for when you was a young person. And if you wouldn't mind, just trying to peruse if you're able, look through the chat and notice the makeup of things. Okay. So the majority, kind of overwhelming majority is purple,
Yeah.
right? Kind of overwhelming majority is purple. There's some both, but for the most part, it's purple. And this is why in the beginning I said we cannot teach something we don't know. Like most of us didn't have parents who or people in our lives when we were young people who operated from the orange side. We had the purple side. I know I had the purple side. And so when we start to work with young people, usually we work with young people the way we were worked with when we were kids. And that is positive or negative sometimes, right? And so when we can shift that mindset and see it, like, okay, there's a different way that I get to be with these young people. Um, it is it can open up a lot, especially if the young people have it at home. If I'm a young person and at home I'm at purple and I come to program and it's purple, I'm going to have similar behaviors, right? I'm going to show up similarly. But if I come to program and it's orange, all of a sudden I get to let my guard down. Because if I'm a kid who lives in a house where it's always purple, I have armor on everywhere. I have to in order to be safe. And so if I can go to a space where I can take that armor off, oftentimes I can show up differently. Okay. Um, Thank you so much. Just kind of notice some of the things that people have in the chat. Okay. Um, so this is why we talk about this idea of moving from power to partnership. How do we move from adult power to adult youth partnership, where we're working in tandem with them to build the program, and we're having positive behaviors because we have positive attitudes and mindsets and feelings, right? We're having positive feelings. We have the joy, we have the connection, we have the belonging, right? And so the intentional mindsets and the intentional actions. And we have a very simple thing that we believe. We believe that with three factors, you can look into your program and notice where are we kind of struggling, right? You can look in, if you can get these three factors nailed down, you can actually build this program where young people thrive, right? And so we really love this because it's super simple, super simple. The first thing is positive relationships. If you have
Absolutely.
positive relationships with parents, with the young people, if you work in a school with the teachers, if you work, your staff, if the relationships are good, things are easier, right? If you have good relationship with kids and there's trust and belonging, everything goes smoother because just think about the relationships that are positive in your life. When you have a positive relationship, hard conversations are easier. You're more willing to have a hard conversation when relationships are good. You give benefit of the doubt when relationships are good. When relationships are bad and there's no trust, something happens, it's automatic like, oh my goodness, this person's trying to do something to me. Right? We like it's hard not to. But when relationships are good, there's a different foundation built. Trust makes things easier. The second thing is inspired planning. We believe that you can plan in such a way that people know that you care about them, right? Like we can plan so well that people can say, "Oh my goodness, I must matter to them because look how they planned this." Right? Think about somebody who planned something really well for you, how it made you feel. It feels great to somebody would think about you in that way, right? And so when we plan things with the attention to details, we can make people feel like they matter. The other thing is when we plan really well, it stops us from being in this space of like, "Oh my goodness, what's going to happen?" If I have a great plan and I've planned all the little details, I can show up more confidently, right? And this is like if I've got a fifth grader and a kindergarten working together and they're both trying to use tape, one of them's going to be able to use tape really well, one of them might not. And there's some feelings there. Like if I'm the kindergartner and I can't rip the tape and this fifth grader's just ripping tape after tape after tape and I can't do it, I've got like, I'm a mummy because I'm wrapped in tape because I can't rip it off. I might have some feelings that happen for me, right? And then those feelings make me have an action. If I am doing a painting activity with kids and I've planned it, think really well, but I forget the paintbrushes and I got to leave the room. When I come back, it's probably going to be a little bit of chaos. And then I'm going to say, oh my gosh, these damn kids, why won't they do their thing? Right. And it's like, I could have planned better where I have all my supplies right here. These little moments are the moments where like behavior happens. And we almost always, a lot of the times, blame the young person instead of our maybe planning or our reaction. And then the last thing is adult presence. How are the adults showing up? Again, we're just human beings. There's no way that you're not going to sometimes have your life come into program. If you've got a hard day, if you've had a hard moment, like it's you're a human being is going to come. And how do we control that so we're not inadvertently changing the energy in the room by our actions? If I have a bad day, how am I going to sit in the car for 15 minutes and listen to my favorite couple of songs before I walk in so that I don't bring that energy and start to spread it out through the young people? Right? Because that's really easy. Energy is contagious. When I come in with a bad attitude, everybody now feels it. Right. And sometimes we do this thing. We love to say fake it till you make it. We don't believe in fake it till you make it, especially with you all who work with these people and you know them. You're not faking it, right? People can see it. People can see it, especially if they know you. So how do we control ourselves, control our own emotions so that we show up in program, we can be present with the young people, we can build relationships, we can plan really well, and we don't have like all this other stuff in our mind that's kind of preoccupying us, right? Because when that happens, then we can't be focused on the young people and we miss the little moments that build relationships, right? When you miss those moments, it's like hard to get them back. It's hard to get them back. So this is our framework, relationships, planning, and presence. How do you can look into a program and say, okay, where's the problem? Do we have a relationships problem, a planning problem, or a presence problem? Oftentimes. Okay, so let me get two people. Um, Yes, Carla, kids are pros at spotting whether a person is real or fake. This is so true because oftentimes they don't have the language to talk about feelings. They have to notice feelings to be safe, right? I got
Hmm.
to know how my mom or dad is right now so I know how I can show up. So they're really good at feelings more oftentimes than they are at expressing feelings. Okay, let me get two people. What's something you liked, didn't like, something you were taking away from our time together for the last hour? You can put it in the chat or just come off of mute and say a thing. What is something you liked or learned or feel like you can take away from our time?
Oh my goodness. I'm so upset that I got in at 2:30. I actually thought it was 3 o'clock to 4. But anyway, I just happened to see it on my calendar. So I missed 30 minutes of this. But I love this. This is so important. I've been a teacher for 30, well, I'm retired now, but 30 plus years. And you know what? You cannot fool kids. You can't
Yeah.
fool kids and you can't fool animals. They just know. And
Yeah.
and I don't know how. I've tried for years. You get those people working with kids that it's not there, and you just can't get that out of a book. So
Yeah.
I have really enjoyed this,
Thank you.
and we need more of it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sign me up, coach.
Kasaya, I saw you was gonna come off mute. Did you want to say a thing?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, thank you. I'm sorry that I'm driving, but I have another appointment.
Don't be sorry.
I like the chart. The we thought it was red, but it's orange and purple. And now I realize why I have meetings every week in my classroom because my family, we consistently had meetings in our household. If Friday was family meeting, and then if there was a problem, there was an emergency meeting. There's a meeting for everything in our house.
Yes.
So and that was because I guess they were trying to encourage us and try to figure out what's going on. That was their way of trying to manage us. I'm not sure, but we had too many meetings, and I have a meeting every week in my classroom. So now I know why I do that because I'm thinking because nobody else does that in my school. So I'm like, why do I do that? So now I kind of figured out now.
Yes. Thank you
So I
so
like
much.
that part how you made us like realize why we do what we do in our classrooms and why we don't do things because we just don't know. We weren't
Yeah.
raised that way.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Couple of things in the chat. Relationships are key. It is always about relationships, positive relationships, open many doors. Don't let our biases rule how we interact with kids and staff. Thank you so much. That's what I got for y'all. I appreciate you so much for listening to me for an hour. Y'all be great. I'm gonna pass it back to, oh my goodness, Scarlett. Yes. See, I
Thank
remember.
you. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for joining us. Just take a moment again. Thank you, Eric, for being here, and to all of you for joining us and coming here to this session today. I'm dropping a few things in the chat. I'm going to reshare our links so you can find us on all of our socials. Check out our website to learn more about us. Please check all of those there. And then I'm also putting our feedback form in there. So please make sure that you take a moment to complete the brief survey about this session. The link is there for you. We really value your feedback, and our aim is to meet your needs, so please keep that in mind as you're completing the feedback form. A certificate of attendance will be sent within a week to all those who attended live and completed the survey, and we hope you'll join us for our next session, which is on May 27th, which is Better Basics from Silos to Synergy. So we're really excited about that, and we hope that you'll register and you'll come and join us for that session. So thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and have a great week.